Sword Art Online is without a doubt the most hated anime series of all time. But how did it get to this point? Why do so many people hate Sword Art Online? In this video, I'll explain the massive amount of hate that Sword Art Online gets. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that I personally hate Sword Art Online or anything. I'm just simply explaining why the anime is so hated. There's the obvious one that it's a matter of personal opinion, and everyone has different preferences, so I won't bother mentioning that in this video. Anyways, let's get started. Number 1. Popularity. By far the biggest reason why Sword Art Online gets so much hate is because it's so popular. Therefore, it will naturally seem like more people hate it because more people have seen it. Let's say there are 10 million people who watch Sword Art Online, and 10% of those people hate it. That would be 1 million people in total, which is still a very small minority, because that would leave 9 million people as fans of the show. But let's say there's another less popular anime, and only 500,000 people have seen it. Out of those 500,000 people, half of them like it and half of them hate it, which means that 250,000 people like the anime, and 250,000 people hate it. Even though the ratio is 50% haters, it's still a far less amount than Sword Art Online, because there's not as many people who've seen the show. Moreover, lots of people hate on popular stuff because it's an easy target. More people have seen the popular thing, so they'll know what you're talking about. For example, lots of people hate the Star Wars prequels and Transformers movies. Are the Star Wars prequels and Transformers movies the worst movies ever made in the history of cinema? No, they're not. There's plenty of movies far worse than those, but they get a ton more hate than a straight-to-DVD movie that barely anyone has seen. Furthermore, the popularity of Sword Art Online caused its audience to expand far beyond its targeted demographic. Therefore, people who aren't interested in the show still end up watching it to see what all the hype is about. Since those people weren't remotely interested in Sword Art Online in the first place, they're not going to like the show itself either. This is the reason why ratings on websites like My Anime List and IMDb go down as time goes on. Number 2. False expectations. Another reason why people hate Sword Art Online is due to the false expectations. When Sword Art Online first came out, it was insanely hyped up and lots of people regarded it as the best anime series of all time. So when people watched it, they had high hopes, and they were let down, which caused them to hate Sword Art Online. This is a phenomenon known as hype backlash. If someone is expecting a flawless masterpiece, then anything short of that would be a major disappointment. And obviously, Sword Art Online is not a flawless masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe under different circumstances, people would have actually enjoyed Sword Art Online, but unfortunately, the hype and overly enthusiastic fans ruined the show for many people and caused them to hate it instead. This is the same exact reason why people hate the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice movie. They had high expectations, and the movie failed to meet their demands. Maybe if people didn't have any expectations at all and weren't hyped for the movie, they might have thought it was an average movie. Number 3. Bandwagon. This is also a big reason Sword Art Online gets so much hate. People see that other people already hate Sword Art Online, so they'll just join the circle jerk instead of fighting back. For example, on YouTube, making Sword Art Online hate videos easily gets you millions of views per video. Meanwhile, videos defending Sword Art Online barely gets any views. So of course people are going to make more negative Sword Art Online videos, because that guarantees them tons of views, which means that they'll get tons of money from it. Even people who didn't really hate Sword Art Online or don't care about the anime are starting to make Sword Art Online hate videos for the free and easy views. It's an effortless way of getting lots of money and subscribers. This kind of mentality just spread and spread, to the point where it became an echo chamber. Number 4. Silent majority. So there's a lot of Sword Art Online fans, or else the show wouldn't be so popular and it wouldn't be getting more seasons. But how often do you actually see or hear people speaking up and defending Sword Art Online? I'm sure it's a rare occurrence. For whatever reason, the majority of Sword Art Online fans prefer to stay quiet and ignore everything, instead of speaking up and fighting back against the Sword Art Online haters. The fans just want to live in their own little bubble and pretend like the hate doesn't exist. Thus, it makes it seem like everybody hates Sword Art Online, because only the haters are speaking up and voicing their opinions. They're the vocal minority and the fans are the silent majority. The same exact thing happened to Ari Ferretta from Commonplace to World's Strongest. You saw a lot of people hating on it, but in reality, the show was one of the top recorded late-night anime in Japan, and it was among the top shows on international streaming platforms as well. That's why it received a second season. Number 5. Illusory truth effect. The illusory truth effect is the tendency to believe false information to be correct after repeated exposure. As I mentioned before, the vast majority of Sword Art Online fans prefer to bury their heads in the sand and stay quiet, so that means the only people speaking up are the Sword Art Online haters. Therefore, people will naturally just believe everything they say, even if it's not accurate, because they've heard it so many times. And these people don't see any counter arguments or any rebuttals against the haters, so that means they must be correct, right? Eventually, people just accept what they say because they don't know any better. They don't really have any other options or choices. If all you hear is Sword Art Online hate over and over again, then sooner or later you'll accept it as truth. So there you have it. Those are 5 reasons why Sword Art Online gets so much hate. What can be done about the hate at this point? Well, I don't think there's much you can do anymore, unless the Sword Art Online fans start speaking up and outnumbering the vocal haters. Apart from that, there's really nothing else you can do about it, unfortunately. The Sword Art Online fans kind of ruined everything by staying quiet. If the Sword Art Online fans spoke up from the beginning, then there definitely wouldn't be so much hate for Sword Art Online today. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.